Welcome to the Kyber Lab, where our goal is to max banners, remove RNG, and avoid making any mistakes. In episode 18, we're looking at Jedi Master Luke versus SLK. This is a fairly common and relatively well-known matchup. The only differences in this particular setup is we have a Jedi Knight Anakin instead of a Bastilla or Shak T or some other high damage character or supporting character. Or even Grandmaster Yoda. And on the opposing side, we only have a single tank, and the fifth is First Order Officer as opposed to Phasma, which is popular these days. Anyway, let's take a look. The goal here is to get 58 or more banners. Gear check, you should be relatively the same as the opponent, the SLK team. Mods, this is actually important. In this particular setup, speed doesn't matter hugely, it's mostly potency. Specifically the enemy's potency and your chance of landing old Ben's, like it's a comparative check, old Ben's potency versus mostly Hux's and also Sith Trooper's tenacity. And also some fast builds of SLKR use a tenacity cross now. It's rare, but you do see it occasionally. So that's always something good to check for as well, because that can make some of this difficult. So let's see how the fight goes. Starts out with a slower JML. Okay, so here's where some potency matters. You could do an AoE here, Flux, and hope to get tenacity down or get ability block on, really, you need to have it on First Order Officer, Hux, and on SLKR. But assuming this is a potency cross being ran on JML, usually that's reasonable to assume. However, an alternative you can do, sort of gambling a bit, is use the middle ability here on Hux, because Hux is going to take a turn before Sith Trooper, and this actually will reduce ability cooldowns, increase ability cooldowns, and not just ability block. So Hux is the preferred target in this case. First Order Officer is also an option, but he doesn't always use his special ability, gives 100% turn meter on the same target. So Hux is the best choice here, unless you have a decent enough potency. So here, this really did nothing, called an assist, but immediately you're going to have Hux go give his turn meter. And anyway, First Order Officer does pinning shot first, so you're safe. So Hux was the correct move here. This probably cost the match. AoE. And here, what's going to come next? A poke, not an AoE. In this case, actually, in some cases, it's better to give the Master's Training to Old Ben because he benefits from the additional potency. So his turn where he does his mind tricks has a much higher chance of succeeding. And look at that turn meter going. And what's the best way to get more turn meter? Do an AoE to get a couple of counter attacks. Look, for full turn meter here. It's not going to go well. This is also a relatively slow Old Ben, considering he took this long to take a turn. He should go. Yeah, only one or two are going to be killed here. Old Ben should be a little bit faster. It's also a slow JKL. Now, oftentimes you'll run this match with a JKR in the supporting side. So JKL speed doesn't matter quite as much. You just do a TM swap to JKL. But in this case, we don't have a JKR. It's sort of overkill for this particular team. Mostly the match was won by by targeting Sith Trooper at the beginning instead of going after Hux. That really was the main move. Look how much. And also you do have to make sure that Hermit Yoda has his foresight available for at least one of the AoEs from SLKR. But in this case, it doesn't make that much of a difference. Here it's better to go for a basic to lower SLKR's damage. In this case, it doesn't make that much of a difference just because he's going to go into his ult first thing again. There's a possibility here that you could maybe kill him before. Like right here, doing an assist call on JKL. No, that wouldn't kill him. F-Flux might do a decent amount of turn meter removal though and give JKL a chance to go. Yeah, okay. JKL can go. Now you can do a blind depending on his damage. There's a faint possibility 2 crits would kill. Very unlikely. Basic really does anything because your game's over. Yeah, and it's just going to be watching SLKR murder them. The point to take out of this is your opening move matters immensely, as does making sure your potency is good. I don't know, maybe this JML, Luke, had terrible potency and Hux had amazing tenacity, so there was no chance to succeed with the opening move, but less likely. Anyway, fight's over here in a moment. JML is not going to win against 3 all SLKR. He is a very tanky guy though. He got quite a ways. So, very, very important to check potency versus tenacity. And keep in mind, First Order Officer uses his pinning shot as his first move, not the 100% TM. So it's easy to work around that. And look at the turn meter on the opponent's team to see who's going to be giving SLKR his next move, because that's the real danger. Hope this helped. Cheers.